that the season starts seconds after last season ended, and it ended in such a dramatic way where the machine's pretty much fucked, and everything is, gone to hell. What can you tease people about where the show starts this season and how it's been going?
Well, like you say, we pick right back up. We're on the lam. Situation hopeless, if not worse, and there's a lot of resourceful scrambling to keep it together. Job one is to save what fragment of the machine they have in that briefcase. No small task in a world where they no longer have access to cash or resources. Most of them can't even show their faces above ground. So that's kind of an interesting problem that needs solving. And it's also it's kind of jarring to have to accept the fact that Samaritan now has a free hand. Samaritan rules the world in effect. So it's high stakes.
That's true. Yeah, no, we are.
The most about the previous season that we just saw, and in terms of how it came out when you saw it on the air, and even when you first read the script, what surprised you the most?
I was surprised at the conceptual places the writers were willing to go, and there's more of that coming in season 5, like that. What's that simulation episode? What was it called?
Then else, maybe? If then else?
If then else? That one where it only slowly dawned on the viewers that they were watching simulations being played out in the machine, in the mind of the machine, trying to calculate the odds of them surviving. And we do more of that this season, which I think is fun. It's.
Hi everybody, sorry. I'm going to have Sarah join you for a little bit as well.
Hey there, sorry.
You can sit close together. You get a free shot. Thank you so much.
Hi there, sorry.
Yes, you guys are now BFFs.
They do clever things this season with the halting, sputtering re-up of the machine. The machine only slowly recovering its powers. It's powers of calculation or tactics, cross-referencing, identification. There's a whole bunch of bugs in the machine when it comes back online, and some of them are funny and some of them are terrifying. And they make drama out of a lot of that for a while.
For all three of you, I'm curious about memorable moments from filming. Is there a day or two that when you think on the making of the show that you'll always remember so far from what you've done?
Oh yeah, for me, I'll never forget how cold I was my first day. I remember it was my first episode of the show, and instantly I knew where your question was going, and this was the first thing that came to mind. I was like, I remember very vividly. It was the episode Jonah had directed, and it was my first in my introduction. And our first day, we shot at Roosevelt Island, and it was mid-January, and I had all these props that I had to fiddle with, and we were exterior. And, I had to look cool, which means you don't get to wear like a big puffy jacket with a hood, And I thought I was getting fired because I was so cold, my mouth couldn't move, like my hands were shaking. And yeah, that's what I think of. Yeah.
Sadly, I think mine's about, it was when we were in Washington. Michael and I had a 6-page outdoor walking through Washington Square Park in the polar vortex. And they were like, every other show is shut down in New York, and we were still walking outside. And they had Michael sitting on a park bench in 12 inches of snow reading a newspaper. And I was just like I think we need to
like
rewrite
someone would
this.
choose to do that.
Right.
Having a day in the park. Look at the snowfall.
Michael, I wanted to ask you, playing this role over the last few seasons, what's been the most rewarding part for you, having a chance to really explore this character and his full arc that he's had so far?
I like playing the scenes that are really well written and are kind of simple and quiet battles of will or terrorism or whatever. I like those scenes where two forces are kind of duking it out in a confined space. Like when I cross-examined Control in that metal cage that time. A scene like that has a fair amount of crackle to it, because it's really dangerous and everyone is having to be super careful about what they say. That's good. I have a lot of those kinds of scenes with Amy, where we have differences and the stakes are dire and the time frame is short. I like that. My favorite kind of scene, I guess, has always been in flashback, the education of the machine. All those scenes where we go back and we see how I first taught it to talk to me, or taught it how to play chess, or educated it about different things, different programs we tried and failed, and all of that. The scenes of a parent and child relationship, I find those satisfying for some reason.
I'm very curious, and I know you got to go after this. You guys are doing 13 episodes this season, and it's sort of like, because you're filming without airing, you don't really know what the reaction might be. How is it sort of creating the show where it could be the last season, but it also could easily be coming back for another one, CBS or somewhere else?
I feel like, at least for the conversations I've had so far, it just kind of feels like we have nothing to lose. So if this is it, then let's just go out with a bang. Which I think, in essence, having that sort of freedom of if we're going to die, we're all going to die together, we're going to go up in flames. I feel like there's such a creative freedom that comes with that, and it feels, at least from my character standpoint, that they've really been writing to them. Where before I feel like that kind of freedom, when it's the end, that kind of freedom wasn't there. But I feel like it's, that's kind of the way the tone has been. It's like, if we're going down, let's go down in flames. We're going to make an impression one way or another.
I just realized that I didn't ask. I would be remiss not asking. Obviously, you've been MIA for a while, and so how early on in the season do you come back, and how does that sort of change the dynamic of finally getting back your friend, which you guys have been sort of hunting for a while?
Yeah, I come back in episode 4. I've only been back filming with these guys for probably a month, or a little bit less than a month now. But I think the big question for Shaw, she's been gone for, almost a year and under Samaritan's care, and is, whether or not we can trust her. I think that's something that as characters, we're going to be able to explore pretty heavily, and there's some really great Shaw moments coming up that I'm excited for everyone to see.
And you don't feel her absence that much, because she's talked about all the time, every episode. There's some image, some fleeting image. We're always reminded that somebody is MIA and the clock is ticking.
Sounds like a network note. We got it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Coming back.